So let's start with some questions from our viewers, and it just so happens that it's right going to be in the wheelhouse of the expertise of both of you. Viewers from Murdoch and from Starbuck are both concerned about water pollution issues relating to agricultural production and industries. We'll go with the question from the viewer from Starbuck that talks about the fact that there has been some support for regulating nitrogen, even from businesses and farmers in greater Minnesota. And this viewer is wondering if we're going to see some legislation that might pass there. And if there's agreement on this, why would anybody be opposed to it? Let's start with you, Representative Backer, and then we'll go to Representative Mahoney.
Yeah, I'm an author of a bill that what it does is MDA, Minnesota Department of Agriculture, has came out with another rule. They came out with nitrate rule 1.0. Now they're 2.0 because there was some pushback. And my bill just says, hey, we as legislators really need to look at the rule because this is a very important rule. And my bill, which has passed the House, would say whatever MDA comes up with, it would come back to us House and Senators to approve it. I have some concerns with the rule that we are seeing right now. My biggest concern is the assumption is that mostly, if not all, ag-related. Over the last 10, 20 years, we have seen a decrease in nitrogen use in ag, but we're still seeing increase in nitrates in certain parts of the states. So that to me says, hey, where is it coming from? One of the challenges I have with or concerns I should say with the MDA is we're not looking at waterfall, we're not looking at other sources of nitrates. I think we need to. So I find we all agree upon that we want clean water. Nobody, wants dirty water. I don't want dirty water, but is it the right science? So we have a legislative process, and I believe this is where we need to take that rule and do that. So,
President Mahoney.
Well, I don't know about point 1.0 or 0.20. I do know the rules that were promulgated by the Minnesota Department of Ag have gone through a very rigorous process. They started this process in 2010. In 2012 or 13, they did a full-on study of where most of the nitrogen was coming from. The surprise to that was that it's not coming from feedlots or thesis sources on the land. 60% or better. I can't remember off the top of my head. I could dig it out. It's on one of the LCCMR's website, or you can go through their history, and it divides it out in a pie chart. And again, more than 60% comes from ag. The Department of Ag has held, I think it's 18 different listening sessions around the state, talking to farmers, seed sellers, fertilizer sellers, the townships, all over the state. Had 820 comments come back. So this has been around for a long time. And it's been done by scientists rather than, I'm a pipe fitter. Jeff's a salesman. We have lawyers. We have people who came from, we have teachers. We have small business owners. We have used car salesmen. We're not scientists. The data is all out there that more than 60% of this stuff is coming from croplands. And again, the department did its job talking to people. At this particular time, and my concern is one of the committees I sit on, Jobs, has jurisdiction of the Public Facilities Authority. And the estimates that are coming out back of the napkin, so there's no study, but back of the napkin, what we're going to have to do for reverse osmosis in order for these small towns, whether it's Redwood or Morton or Fergus Falls or Jackson or Worthington, are getting their water out of the Missouri now. What we're going to have to do in order for these small towns is unsustainable. We fight tooth and nail for money for the Public Facilities Authority. And this year, the governor requested $160 million. And I was talking to the PFA, and that probably fulfills this
The
year's,
PFA is what?
the Public Facilities Authority.
All right.
And they're the ones, yeah, thank you. They're the ones who basically loan the money, finance small town water and sewer. It would be astronomical, $500 million a year to put in these reverse osmosis plants in the cities that I mentioned. So we need to do something. And to bring this back to the Capitol, to set that fight up in the Capitol rather than have scientists, I can just see somebody, some crazy pipe fitter put in an amendment that says you can only do so much of this or so much of that. That throws the science entirely off. I want good decisions made by scientists, not by pipe fitters or used car salesmen or teachers or small businessmen that read into reports that are written by scientists some things that aren't there.
I'm a chemist, so I don't know if you know that, but that's what I
I've
graduated.
heard that in committee a couple
Yeah,
of times.
I know you have. So, and that's the thing is we're talking about peer reviews. So I'm concerned about that. But what they're not looking at, in my opinion, looking at the rule, and I haven't read it every rule, but we're not looking at, and I might be off, but 15 of the largest municipal septic systems abide by rules for nitrates and different, but the smaller communities don't. We're not looking at that. We're not looking at waterfall. We're not looking at the fish. We're not looking at other things. So I know in agriculture, because when this came out, this was not an area of my expertise, so I went and talked to common sense people. Anybody who is misusing nitrates out there in ag is going to be out of business the next year. You know, I have a farmer near Hancock. He grows kidney beans. It's a soil, sandy soil. He goes, if I put too much nitrates in there and if I don't, because remember, in the last 10 years, we have seen in ag decrease of nitrates. They have policing it themselves. But he said, if I would use too much nitrates in there and gets into bleach through the soil, next year, I'm out of business because nitrogen is not cheap. So we have to look, when you're looking at peer reviews and you're looking at the whole science behind it, we have to look at everything. You know, when I have a customer who calls me and has a problem with an ATV that doesn't run, I just don't assume it's a spark plug. Well, maybe we're not getting gas in the carburetor. We have to look at everything. And that's what I think when you bring that back and have us, that's our responsibility. That's what we're elected for. I'm elected to support my constituents just like you are. We're saying, hey, the science doesn't look good. And that's where I'm coming from, Tim.
Well, you
And
know,
Barry.
if I'm driving my car and I put my foot on the brakes and they don't work, my auto mechanic better not be looking at the at the fuel injection. He or she should be looking at my brakes. And common sense, well, common sense is not the science. They did this study. They spent a lot of our tax dollars on the study. And they studied suburban lawns, which are not very much. I think it's less than 12% or 8%. I'd have to look at the pie chart again. Like I said, feedlots and what did you call it, waterfall? Is that like?
Birds.
Birds, oh,
Geese.
okay.
Yeah, in fact,
Waterfall.
one of our viewers raises a question about geese, noting that, wondering about geese being the being the source.
Jeff, well, go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm just saying we should look at every sources. That's what I do, you know, in your line of business, and I'm not a pipe fitter, but obviously when you're running pipes and stuff, you're just not grabbing anything. You're looking at, okay, will this fit here, will that fit there, and getting the right measurements and so forth. And I'm concerned that what I'm hearing from my constituents is they feel that they're being singled out where they're not looking at all sources. And that's where I'm coming from. I want clean water just like everybody else. But if we're not looking at waterfall, you know, even in the new ruling, MDA talks about that their best management practice prior did not solve the problem. Well, the amount of nitrates have decreased with ag, the use of nitrogen, but we're still seeing increase. There's other sources we have to look at. And that's why I think it's important for us as elected officials to go through this process, and that's where I stand.
But again, Jeff, they did do the study. They did do the study. They had university people, they had agronomists do part of that study. They had farmers, ag professionals, I'll call them that, as part of the study. And this was less than 6 or 8 years ago. And we paid for it already. So, again, goose poop is less than 1%. Less than 1%.
So give you the last word and we'll move on.
Yeah, one of the concerns that I have is that the data is coming from the university, and we're not looking at all the data. That's where I'm coming from. That I think we need to do it so we're doing the right job instead of just saying, hey, this is the only source.
Do you expect this requirement, this bill that would require the bill to come back to the House and Senate, do you expect it to pass the House and Senate?
Well, it's passed the House. It's not a standalone bill right now on the Senate. I suspect on both ag bills on both sides of the aisle, it will be in the omnibus bill, and I suspect, based on what the governor's saying, we'll see a veto.
Yeah.
That's something that he has said, and that's why we have this debate. That's part of the fun.
Well, we shouldn't. Debate's fun, but we have real issues here. And on the Ag Committee, we didn't even talk about the tariffs that the president is putting on, which is certainly going to affect all the soybean and all the corn growers. And by the way, corn growers are in favor of what the governor and the Ag Department is doing. Farmers Union, in favor of it, because it sets this up so that they have a process to go through and have some guidance. So I'm really frustrated with on the Ag Committee that we didn't look at bigger issues coming at us that are going to affect the way we're going to live our lives in greater Minnesota. If I had and I spent not thousands, but more than a few thousand miles in my car last year going out to the farmers. So I keep in touch with them. And what I found amazing is I called up one of the people he's a soybean farmer, and I said, how's it going? He goes, well, how'd you feel if you lost $4,000 between the time you went to sleep and the time you woke up? Because that's what that tariff has done to them. Now, the costs have come back up, but they're likely to go back down again with the way this is playing out. And we should have had hearings about what this is going to do and what we as a legislature could do to help our farmers, and we didn't do that.
And I would professionally disagree. We had a hearing here, and one of the farmers from my district stated that the number one stress that they're facing right now is this current administration. We have seen rulemaking with ditch mowing. We've seen 2 weeks ago the certity of $500 per linear foot for the buffers. We've seen the nitrate rule. He goes, the number one thing when they wake up and go to bed, the number one stress is this current administration here in Minnesota. So that's what we addressed it, and we have to stand up for the people that feed the country. Greater Minnesota, rural America feeds the metro area.
So we'll probably have a chance to come back to some ag-related issues.
I do want to say that the governor very clearly, within minutes or hours of that particular, what he talked about, a linear penalty, said that's not what I meant. That's not going to happen, and it isn't. It was just a floated balloon, and some members got a little upset. So just so you know.
It was a certitude, but that's
anyway.
okay.